Good. So I have some slide decks, maybe 10, 15 minutes slide deck to showcase what we have been doing with blockchain in the public sector in Latin America. After that, I would love to bounce some ideas or jump into Q&A or as you wish. Is that right for you, Kirsten?
This is all your time, so whatever you want.
Good. And also, I don't know how people are familiar with hoping, but if you want to start writing something on the chat or leave the questions there, I will love to answer them or address them during the presentation. So let me just share the full screen. Let's see. So there you go. So can you just please confirm that you can see my slide deck full screen?
Good to go.
Good. So I decided to name it Government as a Platform because we have been doing this kind of reimagining the public sector towards a platform, specifically using blockchain. I remember when I stepped into the world of blockchain, perhaps it was 2015. Beyond cryptocurrencies, I'm speaking. I'm trying to understand the impact of blockchain in other areas. And I wish I remember the name of the author of the book, or even the book, because I read so many books at the very beginning that I remember this quote that said, it doesn't matter what use you want to do for blockchain, but fix something that is broken or corrupt. And when I thought of that as a Mexican or as Latin America, I thought, like, can we fix government with this kind of technology? And the very first technology, just for a contextual basis on the problem that we were trying to address, is this one. Do you trust in your government? How can we trust in government? Today is a very particular day for the United States in terms of a democracy. But then when you have people in your public administration, you call it the city, the state, or the national level, do you trust them? When was the last time that you interacted with them? How much of your taxes or money is going to them? How much of their decisions take your opinion into account? Is your city growing at the pace you are expecting it to grow? Is it growing on the sides and geographically speaking, but also in terms of different topics? Is it growing through the path that you're imagining your city to grow? There are many questions that brings governments to perhaps worrying numbers. And just to give you three numbers in sense of the idea of who trusts the government and how the government is operating. These are numbers according to McKinsey. McKinsey says that according to their surveys and their studies, probably 1 out of every 2 persons trust their government or not. And 9 out of 10 public servants, they just say that they don't have the tools to cope with the challenges of today. Name it fast emergent problems or just growing cities. There is this saying that once a city surpasses a certain size threshold, they just don't know what to do and can't even address the problem. So 9 out of 10 people working at the government says, like, I don't have the tools. I don't know what to do. There is no opportunity for me to operate. And one of the most interesting numbers in terms of business is that 20% on average of every government's annual budget just goes missing. $5 trillion in the world. In my city, in the metropolitan area where I live, in the state of Nuevo León in Mexico, this means $1.2 billion a year. This is the 20% of annual budget in an emerging country. So think about that and think about all the money that just goes missing. Then every single year, there's a lot of money. If you can fix that, that's a bit of an opportunity just in my state. So we said we needed to reimagine that. And what we wanted to do was to jump in the middle of this Venn diagram where we fuse together top technologies, top emerging technologies, also considered as $100 billion industries, and 1 billion person needs, particularly sustainable cities and stronger government institutions, along with some of the partners that you can see there. Perhaps the most linked to this event is the Ethereum Foundation and even the Ethereum Classic Labs, which are our blockchain side of the company. And by putting us in the middle of this Venn diagram, What we are actually doing is to bring to government what we believe it happens in technology. In technology, if we can see the white letters here, we assume the Moore's law, and even faster now than ever. Every year, things cost less and do more. And in government, it happens the other way. Every year, things cost more and do less. So as I said, government goes inefficient once they cross the certain size threshold, and every single city is growing exponentially. They are all surpassing this size threshold, so every government is going inefficient, and this is raising apathy, this is raising distrust, and this is perhaps increasing that 20% of money being lost. So we need to reimagine that, and the way we are reimagining that is as a platform, thinking of a government as we can see of different platforms and companies, as Ethereum has done to the blockchain community, to create on top of it and to develop applications that can integrate together or that can deliver services together in a sense of platform, so that we can promote less duplicated efforts, rapid adoption, and better services. And the platform that we imagine for government to be is a platform based on two legs: one leg of trust and one leg of efficiency. So I'm gonna go through efficiency very fast, because this is more about artificial intelligence than blockchain, but at the end of the presentation, you'll get a sense why I spoke about efficiency and artificial intelligence. First, because everything that we have developed for artificial intelligence right now has been crypto funded. So we received Ether from the Ethereum Foundation and UNICEF Foundation Innovation and Division from UNICEF Innovate at Twitter. So we received Ether to ETH to create the first pilot projects to test how artificial intelligence can serve governments. And we did it to mine essentially reviews, for example, on Google, so that they can better understand the public spaces. We mined all these texts and we label them, and we evaluate the sentiment, and we depict that on a map. We created algorithms that can recognize public services, for example, potholes, broken streetlights, damaged parks, or even situational things. Sorry that this is in Spanish. As I said at the beginning, we're focusing in Latin America, but we can guess even actions right now. What we can do with this is to make a government that receives information, gets digital data, and gets actions faster. That's efficiency. That's AI, and I'm going to stop about AI here, and I'm going to step into trust. And when we think of trust, we think of blockchain. And again, if we started doing blockchain to the public sector, it was because of pilot projects. We were part of the blockchain cohort number 1 in UNICEF. It was back to 2018. And this year, we have also received another amount of crypto fund with ETH to step further what we have done with blockchain. The very first thing that we did was just write information into different blockchains, make it as easy as possible, so that, for example, a WordPress plugin can help anyone to write on any blockchain. We were able to write into 5 different blockchains, including Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, RSK blockchain, and the Federal Argentinian blockchain, known as BFA. And during this year, we created, let's say, a step back in what we were delivering with certificates. I'm going to give the examples right now, but we started creating a document holder to use an Ethereum wallet as a document holder and as a digital identity, so that any citizen can interact and be an auditor of the different certificates. Let me show you how that works. First, on self-sovereign identity and blockchain assets, this is something that we are doing right now. So this is a simple demo. You get into your blockchain ID, you write your email there, and you log in, you link to MetaMask. We can also link to Coinbase right now, and you just sign in. This is very equivalent to an electronic signature for a government. You entered here, you click verification to verify your information. Then this is an administrator logging in. The administrator got to the inbox. They see your request to get a certificate. They just click there. They just click certify, and then you get a certified information, a certified digital blockchain asset. So that's an asset. You have the QR, you have the URL, and most importantly, this is open standards based. Is on the block search standard. So anyone can scan your QR or access your URL and verify your blockchain certificate with this standard. So imagine doing that for us as a centerpiece of your identity or your document holder, as I said, with your government. For example, here with the presidency of Argentina, what we are doing is putting this MetaMask address linked to your authentic R. It is the name of their login. This is the art that you can see on the left on the image of that cartoon, the woman. So you declare your address with the presidency of Argentina. They validate that no one is using that address, and then once that happens, the state recognizes your MetaMask wallet or your blockchain ID, let's call it like that, as your unique identifier in the blockchain. And then your bus credentials, your taxes, your university diplomas, handicap permits, commercial permits, liquor licenses, everything starts to get linked to that address. So, and when you want, for example, to start another thing, let's say you want to build something in your house, you need a construction permit. So when you want, instead of going to the government office and do all the paperwork and pay for your permit to build what you want to build in your house, and then go back to your home and then start building, now you can do it all from your home. And similar to when we use, for example, a Google sign in, when Google says, like, for example, when you want to sign in with Zoom, at Zoom with Google, it says, hey, Zoom wants to access your email and your calendar. So this is a similar thing, but then it says, for example, the government of Buenos Aires, they want to access your birth certificate and your home ownership certificate, blockchain asset. You click accept, you send them access to these documents inside or linked to your ID. They say, okay, everything is okay, and then they issue another blockchain certificate linked to your wallet. We are doing that with the Python Ethereum API 2.3.1. Following, as I said, the block search standard, so that we can have a universal verifier. This is just a way on or the specifications to write on the blockchain. It's a structure of a JSON to be written. And as I said, we're using or trying to use the easiest approach for citizens to get a wallet. This is why we're using, for example, the MetaMask plugin or the Coinbase app on mobile devices or MetaMask browser on mobile devices, so that anyone can easily get the wallet. Using this idea, we have been able to trace subsidies. Subsidies deliveries are being traced on the blockchain. This is Ethereum as well. Energy pricing, so this is for transparency, means all the energy pricings are certified on the blockchain. University diplomas written on the federal Argentinian blockchain, verifiable, as I said, portable, following open standards. School skills, again in Argentina. Wine derivative products from commercial licenses in Argentina. Sustainable development commitments of different countries with the Sustainable Development Observatory in Argentina, in Spain, sorry. Commercial licenses in municipalities in Costa Rica. The results of winners of public lotteries. Then we're raising trust and creating a new concept of intelligent public lotteries. So they certify the winners every week. Liquor licenses. So imagine you get into a restaurant and you see all these permits that they have: hygiene, liquor selling, commercial operations, and all these now reduced to a QR that city inspectors can scan to do a check-in and see if everything is okay. But also citizens, anyone with an internet-connected device can scan the QR, click on the button of verifying, and verify the 4 verifications that Blocksearch does. This is authenticity, no tampering, no revocation, and no expiration. So we can see that and transform citizens as auditors of the public sector. City inspectors as well. There is a lot of corruption and abuse of power from city inspectors in Latin America in general, and this goes also for police officers. So now you can scan a badge with a QR and verify at the same time that you kind of whistleblow to the authorities that there is an inspector doing something at a certain latitude and longitude and point of time, and you can see if they are actually doing their work where they are supposed to be, or whistleblow, as I said. Also, constructions. You're navigating your city, and then you see something is happening. You can scan a QR and verify if everything is under the regulation and what they are doing and who has been hired and the status of all the information, all on the blockchain, promising tamper-proof or trustable or trustworthy documents. We have done that in several countries in Latin America. Different examples. In the end, we have delivered tens of thousands of blockchain digital assets, perhaps impacting the life of above 650,000 people in Argentina, Chile, Costa Rica, and Mexico. And hopefully getting deeper now with the blockchain ID that we are launching this December. So as we are using AI for actions faster, we're using blockchain for documents and trustworthy documents. And the good side of this is that if we plug them together as a platform, this is the only reason that I spoke about AI as well, then we start thinking of migrating or reimagining governments from how they operate today, the image that we see here on the left of the screen, the couple pieces, not easily to integrate, not easily to build on top of them, to more government agencies operating as Lego pieces, solutions that we can integrate. The blockchain certificates integrating with the blockchain ID and different government agencies operating together. And similar to what happened to us individually with the App Store or the Play Store, we are creating what we call the GOP Store. So anyone can just have the access to this platform, got to the setup, got to the service models, and start turning on and off, which is kind of installing apps to be able to access the power of these different technologies that I mentioned, artificial intelligence, or even blockchain certificates and blockchain ID. When you have this possibility to activate all these different models, and there is also, of course, a continuous access to more models, then we can imagine things like this. And with this, I want to close. Imagine someone took a picture, a selfie, or whatever on the streets, and that picture we can see, because it's a public picture, for example, on Twitter, we can mine it and detect that there is a broken street light. Any public need. We can think of an unemployment benefit done faster, or any government procedure of service. But let's think about this. You detect a public need, such as a broken street light. The AI mines the picture and it says, hey, I need from my blockchain certified providers that can repair a broken street light. Can you raise the hand? Similar to when we ask for an Uber driver. And then we assign a smart contract. This is why we are working from certificates to ID, then to smart contracts. Then we can do a smart contract to the best rated provider, or you name it, similar again to the Uber driver. And when we ask the citizens passing by the broken street light to take a picture or to see if it's working now, and they click yes, then we can trigger that smart contract. It's like voting with your smart ID or with your blockchain ID and the repaired public need. If that happens, then we can transfer the money and then we can pay. Just in the United States, there is an infrastructure budget for every year of $1.5 trillion. If you can ensure that that money is going to the right place in the most efficient way and take a fee out of 0.07%, that's $1 billion company. Big business, big impact, and trustable opportunity for governments to operate. So will you trust a government like this? This is a hypothesis that we are having. We're building the GOP Store on one side to create more pieces for governments to implement or access these technologies, and hopefully around the community that we are creating, the goptechhub.org, create a masterpiece out of those Lego pieces. Fayez King, the head of innovation at the UN, they say that this is a promising opportunity, maybe a potential game changer. What we think is that we are leveraging this concept of Ethereum being a platform considered this infinite machine where we can create together and not only reimagine but actually reinvent things. So this is what we have been doing. This is the way you can contact me, but I would love to use these minutes. It's 10 minutes that left to chat, to answer some questions, and to dig deeper in anything that goes that interests you. So Kirsten, I don't know if you were following me. Tyler, Hector, thank you for your comments here. Thank you for that tacos.
Yeah, definitely. And if anyone has any questions, if you put them in the chat, then there we go. I think we have one here. Ben Town says, how does this compare with Estonia's efforts?
Yeah, so this is an interesting question, Ben. Thank you for asking. So I met several people from the government of Estonia. In general, I've seen their apps using their digital identities, and I guess Estonia can say that they did blockchain before it was cool, and probably they use a different flavor of blockchain. They don't use blockchain actually, but they have something that behaves and promises the same things as a blockchain. So in general, probably to answer this is that we are actually using blockchain, not using something similar to blockchain, and we're pursuing the same things. We're actually trying or paving a road for governments in Latin America to behave more like Estonia. So that's a good one, Hector. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you're thinking? Yes, Ben. While I try to answer or Hector elaborates the question on blockchain.os.city. There are some things that need to be updated there, but there you have something, and also those are PDFs where you can access the different examples, and you can get contact for us so that we can share more information if you want. And yeah, Hector, if you want to elaborate more, it's going to be better for me. But in general, what your question brings to my mind is that if we are doing this more like a token approach of governments, and the closest thing that I have thought of this is how can we reward people to do things better? How can we incentivize citizens to participate on a more trustable network with the governments? Right now, everyone interacts with the government because they must do it. I haven't met anyone that says like, I love interacting with my government. I'm happy that this Monday I'm going to my government office. That never happens. So I'm not sure, even if it's super efficient and trustable, if people is going to enjoy that need or that way to interact with their governments. But probably most of the interesting things where you want citizens to participate, you can incentivize with this approach. I'm not sure if I understood your question, but that's what I'm thinking that will be possible. So I guess if there's nothing else, the way to keep plugged into what we are doing is maybe subscribing to the newsletter at os.city or access the community govthecop.org. We just launched the community last month. So hopefully we are going to be growing a community of technology developers or blockchain enthusiasts along with public servants or government workers. So we hope that from that blend, we can end up listing or creating more models to serve through this platform and hopefully transform governments for the better. So if there's no question, I guess we're done, Kristen.
Thank you so much for your talk. It was really interesting.
Thank you, and happy to keep the conversation going. Here you have my email. So feel free to write to me, feel free to connect. I can connect you to the technical team behind all this work that we're doing, and dig deeper on the details on what's happening under the hood of everything that I've shown. So thank you very much for inviting us and accepting us to share here.